Hello, Karen Miller here again, and I wanted to show you something really fascinating. Um, I love crab cakes, but of course I don't eat crabs anymore. So I got this idea from watching a cooking show, and this lady was doing she's a vegetarian, and she was doing imitation crab cakes. And she used zucchini, and she grated the zucchini and put it in the crab cakes. And her idea was the white of the zucchini would imitate the crab cake, the crab meat. And I said, wait a minute, why don't we just do oyster mushrooms? Oyster mushrooms have this fishy flavor and fishy smell. It's the perfect substitute for crab meat. So I had this light bulb moment and I got so excited and I said, oh my God, I have to do this fake crab cake recipe. So I'm going to do this for you and I hope you enjoy it because I think it's delicious. Okay, so here are our ingredients for our imitation crab cake. Okay, so the star of the show is our oyster mushrooms. This is about an 8 ounce. I'm going to use 2 of this. Okay, this is the oyster mushrooms. This is what it looks like, and it smells very fishy. Okay, and I think this is a perfect thing for crab cakes if you love crab cakes like I do. And then I have my veggies here and my herbs. So I'm going to use a little bit of cilantro. I'm not going to use a lot for the two 8 ounce boxes. I'm going to use half of this bell pepper. I'm going to use a half of this habanero pepper, which you don't have to use, but I love crab cakes, anything with fish. When I used to eat a lot of fish with the habanero pepper, I love this a lot. And this one is not so hot. The red one is the hottest, and this one and the green one is not that hot in my opinion. So I have cilantro, red bell pepper, habanero, which is optional, and I have 4 scallions here because I'm not going to use any other onion, any kind of red onion. And then I'm going to use thyme. Thyme goes along very well with anything fishy, and I love thyme and savory. Okay, I showed you the savory before in my my chickpea curry video. This is a savory. It looks a lot like rosemary, and it has that combination of rosemary, peppermint kind of flavor, and the thyme. Okay, we're gonna use thyme, and last but not least, the 2 things, some more pepper. This is optional, cayenne, red pepper flakes, and some salt. Okay, the sea salt. Okay, I use this coarse sea salt. This is made in France. I like this coarse sea salt or the Himalayan salt. Okay, and we're gonna use some bread. This is bread that I made. I make my own bread, and I'm going to use about half of this, which is, I would say, about 3 slices of your favorite organic bread. Like if you have spelled bread that you buy in the supermarket, you can use that. In the future, I'm going to show you how to make your own homemade bread, which is much better because this only has like 3 ingredients in it, and it's great, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So we need the bread, and I think I'm going to add also a little bit of sea moss gel to keep the to hold the cakes together. Okay, so then we're gonna come back to the stove. Okay, so before we go to the stove, I just wanted to show you how I chop this up, because unlike doing a curry or something, this needs to be chopped up because we're making imitation crab cakes. So you need to chop this up. Okay, so I'm chopping this up here. So I would say this is about a half a cup because I don't want to put too much cilantro into this because I don't want this to overtake the fishy taste of the oyster mushroom. The oyster mushroom has to be the star here. Okay, so this is chopped up enough. Okay, I'm gonna put this aside. and I have my thyme. This is the amount of thyme. So again, I'm going to pull this back and chop up the leaves. Usually I would not do that. I would just take this and throw it in the pot. Just take this and throw it in the pot, and the leaves would come off in the pot, and then after everything is done, you remove this from the pot. But because I'm making these cakes, I have to remove the leaves from the stalk here. See, so I'm removing it, and then I'm going to chop it up a little bit. Okay, so you move it like this. So here we have about a tablespoon of thyme after I chop this up. So I remove those tiny leaves from the stalk, and I'm now chopping it up. Okay, you don't have to do that. You could just remove the leaves and put it in the batter. Not batter, sorry, in the mixture. So I chopped up my thyme, and now I'm going to do my savory. Because when you're doing the crab cake, you cannot just throw everything in the pot and then remove this at the end. You have to chop it up. So as much as I hate doing that, I have to take the time to do it. I'm smelling the thyme. It is so pungent. It is so great. And those of you who are transitioning and you're not quite there yet, if you're doing any kind of fish recipe, thyme and savory are the best flavors for that. Okay, so this is good. So I have my thyme, my savory, and my cilantro chopped up here. I'm now going to show you what I do. I'm not gonna put this in the processor because I don't want it to get mushy. If you put this in the processor, because mushrooms are very watery, if you put this in the food processor, it's going to get very mushy. So I chop this up. And you see this, especially this white area here, it looks like crab meat. It looks like crab meat. So I'm like, wait a minute. This is the perfect thing for imitation crab cakes. So I don't want to chop it up too fine because I want to see the pieces of mushroom in the cake, like you would see the crab meat in the cake. So we're gonna chop it up like that. This is good. This is good like that. And mushrooms are not difficult to chop at all. You see? So we want it like that. See, it looks like crab meat. Okay, so this is good. And then I'm going to chop up the other box because there are 2 8-ounce boxes. And then we're gonna come back. Okay folks, so let's start sauteing our veggies and herbs for our fake crab cakes. Okay, so I'm going to have some oil here. I don't want too much oil. And we are going to bake these crab cakes because you cannot fry it. It's going to be too oily. Okay, so I'm going to put my green onions here. This is medium low. Put my onions. This is all mixed up here, so forgive me, but it's not a big deal. Then we're going to put our I diced the sweet peppers, the bell peppers, half of bell pepper, we're going to saute this. I'm going to add some salt and red pepper flakes. I'm gonna add about 2 teaspoons of salt to taste. And I'm going to do red pepper flakes. I'm not gonna do cayenne pepper with this. I'm gonna do red pepper flakes, okay? And now I'm gonna put in my herbs. The cilantro, the thyme, and savory. That's all you need. This is smelling really, really good. The thyme, I'm getting the smell of the thyme and the peppers. This is going to be good. And the reason why I don't want to add any more oil here is because I don't want my crab cakes too oily. And once I put the mushrooms in here, which I'm going to do now, the mushrooms are going to give off a lot of moisture. So I'm putting in my oyster mushrooms right now. I just want to get everything here. So what I'm also going to add to this is some butter. So you're going to add some vegan butter. Instead of putting in more oil here, you see this is kind of dry. I wouldn't put more oil here. I would add some vegan butter. So I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of vegan butter here. And just a little bit more. So now I'm turning up my heat here. Get rid of the rest of the butter on the spoon. Right. And this butter will give this some extra flavor. So this is starting to look really good. So this is going to saute for another 5 minutes or so. And then we're going to move to the next step, because this doesn't have to cook that much, because this is going to go into the oven. So I'm going to let this simmer here on low for about 5 minutes, and then we'll get back. Okay, so I'm going to cut this bread in half, because this bread, I'm going to make breadcrumbs out of it. As I told you before, this is my fresh homemade bread. I'm going to use this piece here because I need the bread for 2 things. I need the bread to mix it into that mushroom mixture, and I need also for breading the cakes before I put it into the oven. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these. You see, this is a you see, I baked this in a round iron pot, so it's a round loaf. So all I can say to you is maybe about 5-6 slices of bread some good organic bread. You know, buy good organic bread until you can make your own bread. Okay, so I'm now going to slice these into cubes before I put it into the processor. So here I have my diced bread for my breadcrumbs. I'm going to process this now. I don't want this too fine. I need chunks. This is good. This could go a little bit more. I think it can go a little bit more. Okay, this is great. This is great. It is moist, and we're gonna come back and I'm going to show you what I do, the next step. Okay? So I wanted to show you how I do the breading for the fake crab cakes. I'm gonna put just a tiny bit of oil, not a lot. And I'm going to add some more butter to this. Like a teaspoon of butter, not a lot. Okay? And then I'm going to add my breadcrumbs. This is about 1.25 cups of breadcrumbs. Okay? So this has to be kind of dry, not wet. Okay? I'm just toasting the bread a little bit before I bread the and what I wanted to do, just for a little bit of flavor, I'm going to put just a little bit of the thyme leaves in here, just for a little bit of flavor on the breading. Okay, and that's it. This is on low. I am toasting this bread, the breadcrumbs, on low. You can add some oregano to this if you like, but I just want to do this as simple as possible. And since I have time in the mixture, I just wanted to add some more here just to enhance it a little bit. So this is all I'm going to do here. So this is toasted a little bit. It has some butter, and so this is going to help when I put this into the oven for the browning process. So it will be brown and has a nice golden color. Just want to get off some of the butter here. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so then we're gonna move on to the next step. So this is a mixture here with the oyster mushrooms and the other flavorings. And I wanted to tell you, sorry about this. I wanted to tell you that this, I said 8 ounce. This is actually 3.5 ounce container. 3.5 ounces. So actually I use 7 ounces altogether, right? Two of this. So I just wanted to make note of that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put 3/4 cup of breadcrumbs into this mixture. Okay, I don't want the breadcrumbs to overwhelm the crab meat, the fake crab meat. See? And then I'm going to add a little bit of sea moss gel to that to hold it together a little bit. So I have some sea moss gel here. So I added 3/4 cups of breadcrumbs to this and about 4 tablespoons of sea moss gel. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make my cakes. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this is probably only going to make about 6 cakes. Okay, so this is like a quarter cup. I'm going to press it in and then I'm going to take it out. You see, so it has a nice edge to it, so it looks like this. And then I'm going to dip it into the breadcrumbs, and I'm going to cover it with the breadcrumbs. Cover it with the breadcrumbs, squeeze it a little bit, and put it in my pan here. This is a pan that I oiled. I have parchment paper here because I don't like to use aluminum. It's very toxic. So I have, this is chlorine free parchment paper. I grease the bottom of the pan and the top here, and this is where I'm going to put my my crab cakes. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue doing this, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. So these are my breaded crab cakes, or fake crab cakes made with oyster mushrooms. I got 5 crab cakes out of the amount that I made, and I used a 1/4 cup mold. So you could make it smaller or bigger, but this is what I got out of it using the 1/4 cup mold. So now I'm going to put these into the oven at 375 degrees for 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, and when they come out, I'll show you what they look like. Hi folks, so here we are again with our imitation crab cake with oyster mushrooms. This is what they look like after 20 minutes in the oven at 375. Okay, and they look great. So I hope you try this, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care.